Welcome back, everyone. It's Buddy Tactical. Back with part 2 of full-size machete shootout with the reigning champ on the left, the Ontario Field Machete. And today's competitor will be the Coldsteel Jungle Machete on the right. Now, anything over a 15-inch and up, I'm going to consider full-size. So anything under that will be just small size. So the only real difference between the two is length and steel. The Ontario on the left is an 18-inch, while the Coldsteel on the right is a 16-inch blade. And thickness, they're almost identical. The Ontario is like a tenth of an inch thicker, if that. I mean, it's just a tiny bit thicker, barely. But it is a better steel, because the Ontario is 1095 versus the Coldsteel is 1055. So let's see how these two will stack up. Now, before we get started, just want to apologize about all the cars. I couldn't go as deep in the woods today because I had to stay closer to home. But just want to apologize for that now. So we're going to start off with some stabs. See how this stabs. Ontario first. It's actually some pretty hard wood. It's poplar, I think. Not that great, but you know, it is a machete. But just another part of the test. So it's like fair. Time for the Coldsteel. Yeah, that stabs in a little bit better. Got a more acute point on it, so it does help. Okay, we're just gonna do a quick chop test on this log, or tree, excuse me. As you can see here, that was done with a esihunglas. Actually chopped it up a couple times. That thing is freaking meat. Love that knife. Anyways, this ain't about that knife. Let's get over here. We're gonna do we'll do like 10 chops and just see how far it goes. Not too bad. Now for the jungle machete. Coldsteel. Okay, here's a close-up of the damage. This one's the Ontario, and that one was the Coldsteel. So significant difference right there. And the shots were all pretty much contained, not too bad. That's a good chunk taken out compared to that. So, as I'm doing now, I'm not wearing gloves anymore doing my tests, because I think that's a good idea. Then you can see if something hurts you or something. So hence why I don't have my safety gloves on. But I just want to see if there's any hot spots, anything like that. And another thing, do get a lot of comments sometimes, PMs, oh, you know, you're overusing the tool, or a machete ain't meant for that. It ain't meant for friggin' trees. Granted, you're totally right. It isn't. I'm just doing this to go above and beyond. In other words, I'm just giving it a thorough test and see if it'll break easily. See if it's even worth your friggin' money. So I'm doing it for you guys. But hey, whatever. So, try out some chopping. Ontario first. So far, the Coldsteel was better at stabbing, and it took a bigger chunk out of that tree. This is something a little bit softer and smaller, but this is a better steel, so that Coldsteel might wave or chip out, or I don't know. So let's give it a try. We'll give it 10 hits, see what happens. Okay, try out the Coldsteel again. Whoa. Yeah, there's an up close of what the Coldsteel did. There's the Ontario. At this angle, pretty much the same. Here, see a little bit of the deeper cuts. But this had a couple too. That went pretty deep. So I don't know, that was pretty close. It still felt like the Coldsteel was doing more damage though. It does feel good though. The handle, it's a little bit slippery. This is the Ontario. But the D-ring helps hold you in. And the shape ain't bad. Could be a little bit better shape. Coldsteel again. Handle on this too. Decent, no shock. Decent shape. Could have more texture though. It's kind of slippery. Thinking about putting a Ranger band on it. Ontario again. They seem really similar. It just, I think it's almost like the geometry of the blade of the Coldsteel makes it seem a little bit better than this. But they're really close in like performance. Okay, I do a couple more stab tests just to see the flexibility. Yeah, it seems to have a fair amount of flex. You know, not super bad, but it is kind of thin. But not bad. Coldsteel. It's just like that friggin' parang shape or something. It's pretty awesome. They're about equally as sharp, but I think the geometry on the bevel of this one is better for doing stuff like this. We'll stab test with the Coldsteel, check for flex. It's about the same. Actually, maybe a hair more. No, it's about the same. Because they're about the same thickness, just a little bit different steel. The Ontario's a higher carbon steel, which I think will be better. But I think it just comes down to the shape of that blade. A little bit closer shot. There's the Ontario. The edge is perfect. No rolling, no chipping. Sorry if this doesn't focus totally. There's the Coldsteel behind it, same thing. Both steels held up really well. So in the end, it seemed like the Coldsteel stabbed better and chopped better. They had about the same flex. Handle-wise, I gotta give the slight edge to the Coldsteel again. So, yeah, either one is good for the money, definitely. But for about the same price, I'd go with the Coldsteel. Thanks as always. Stay tuned for more shootout vids, and until the next time we meet.